So, just kicking it right off, can you both go into the personalities of your characters in the play and kind of how you got into the skin of your characters themselves? So, maybe we can start with you, Supriya, and then move on to you, Mahira.
Yeah, so Vaidehi is the youngest daughter in this family of four. But to me, she gives like extreme eldest daughter energy, which I am in my own family. It wasn't that hard for me to click into her. Yeah, I just think she's really hardworking, really trying to take care of everyone else, really passionate about this restaurant that we're all trying to save, and maybe is has taken on a little bit too much more than she can chew. So yeah, that's how I would describe her. Yeah.
And for you,
Um, for me, so Ananya is the matriarch of the family, and it's very. I mean, I think for her, her happiness comes from her family, or she thinks that her happiness comes from her family and from keeping her word and from looking after people. Oh no, did we lose you? No, okay. uh, Technical glitch. Um, and that really appealed to me. I was raised by some really strong women, like my mom and her friends, the aunties, and um, I always sort of get a little when I see stereotypes of Indian aunties and Indian moms, it always hurts me a little bit because I know those women so well. And I know that they're always coming from a good place and wanting their kids to succeed. And sometimes they might not know the best way to help their kids thrive. And so, what appealed to me about this play was that it really looks at people from a three-dimensional point of view. And I got into it by thinking about my childhood and the things that I grew up with. And I've been watching a lot of shows and reading a lot of books about chefs, particularly immigrant chefs. And that has really helped. And it's also really helpful to work opposite these specific actors because they're so present and they're so available that it's very easy to love them.
Mhm.
So I, if that answers your questions about how I got into the skin of the character.
Yeah, and I love kind of what you're saying about the stereotypes of, South Asian aunties especially. And I
Yeah.
really love that that's something that you wanted to break because that is something that is quite prevalent, especially now with more South Asian representation in television. And that's still something that we're trying to break, right? Is that stereotype of South Asian aunties and the older South Asian generation. And I love that you kind of came with that perspective to try and break that. And I want to kind of dive deeper into both of your characters and sort of how you approach them. So for you, Supriya, I mean, I've watched you in the pit. I'm a huge, huge fan of your character, I have to say.
Oh, thank you.
I was obsessed with the pit, like watching it pretty much every week as soon as it came out. We would watch it together. But there is a big difference between television and theater. So for you, like,
Absolutely.
what does that difference kind of entail, and how do you approach maybe playing, a character that's live and on theater, and you're kind of playing them continuously versus a television character?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest and most obvious difference is just that there's no safety net. You're just there, and everyone's just going to see what you're going to do, which is really nerve-wracking. But something about that feeling, I think, brings something to the performance. And Zai, our wonderful director, always says a play isn't ever really complete without its audience. So we actually did our first performance recently for a designer run. I mean, first performance ever of this play, and it was just such a wonderful, exciting experience. And I think one of the challenges with Vaidehi, at least from what I've heard in the workshops that Zaya's talked about, is that she's dealing with a lot during the play, and the audience isn't really privy to it until I would say over halfway through. And so the challenge was kind of trying to make sure that there is like this undercurrent of tension with her that's coming through, while also making her this character that people want to root for. And so that was like a really lovely thing to play with, trying to figure out how that can sometimes show up and leave little breadcrumbs for the audience, so that they can kind of have their antenna going up, going like, what's going on here? What's going on with her? So that when the reveal happens, it's kind of like, oh, that makes total sense. Yeah, it was a really lovely experience, and I think something that's helped me grow so much as an actor, because it's my first play, it's my theater debut, and I'm so grateful to be acting opposite people like Ma and some amazing actors who've had so much experience in theater. They've been so giving and so kind, and I couldn't ask for a better experience.
Yeah, that's amazing. And also kind of hearing that it is your theatrical, debut for theater. Did that ever kind of make you nervous? Like, does that ever kind of, make you think when you're getting on stage of like, this is my theater debut and this is maybe different than what I'm doing in television or in film, or is it just kind of like you're used to it because you've done this for so long?
I mean, I started off doing plays in college, just not like professionally. And to be honest, I feel like all those thoughts kind of go out the window once you're in it. I mean, I always say like I black out during a performance, but it's so true. If you're not in it, you're not giving it like your 100%. So you kind of have to leave all of those thoughts and anxieties at the door, unless those are anxieties that Vaidehi is experiencing. So yeah, it's just been really amazing. And I'm so excited that I get to have my debut with something like this, which is such a specific, wonderful play. And the whole team's so amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I really wish that I could come watch it. I don't live, unfortunately, in the area that it is currently playing, but I really do wish that I could come watch it. And that kind of brings me to you, Mahira, because you have such a vast body of work. When I was doing research, prepping for this interview, just seeing the filmography and the theater work that you've been a part of, you have such a huge body of work and the types of characters that you've played. And I know that we talked a little bit about how you approached, playing Ananya and how you brought your own kind of experiences into it. But what is your favorite part about playing Ananya? And if you could kind of give a little bit of insight into maybe even like a few, parts of the plot or the, scenes within, the screenplay that maybe make you feel like this is such a wonderful character that I'm playing.
The this it's remarkable to me that this play has been written by such a young playwright. It's
Mhm.
been written by this young male playwright who's managed to capture the desires and the feelings of an older South Asian woman. I mean, he's South Asian himself, but that he's managed to capture it. And I think the play in a way is an homage to his mom because he talks about her a lot. So it's really gratifying and moving to me because it feels like what what I'm then trying to channel is like all these women who haven't had a platform necessarily to express themselves. And yeah, it's like I just think about like our mom's generations and our grandmother's generations and like the things that they wanted and they put on hold because they were trying to make sure that their families would do well. So one of my favorite parts of the play is being like, and this is going to sound really corny, but being like, oh, this is not about me.
Mhm.
It actually is about my kids because that's what she's about. It's about my kids and it's about my husband's dream and it's about them. So, to get back to your point about like being nervous and stuff, because I think every actor deals with that. I have to be like, oh, I don't even have to think about that because it's not about me. Um, and then the descriptions of the food and talking about the food and how good the food is, because South Indian food is really good. It's like I don't think it gets enough attention here in the United States.
I
And
agree. As a South Indian, I fully agree
yeah.
that it doesn't
Oh
get
my gosh, yeah, I'm
enough
Tamil. I'm
time.
Tamil as well, and the playwright's Tamil, and so all of the food is just so specific. Like it's like things my mom would even make for me. Like even when I was reading the first draft of the script when I was auditioning, that was one of the reasons why I was like, I have to be a part of this because these are not things you would find in a restaurant.
Yeah.
These are things that my mom's made for me, and so yeah, it's just such a special play.
Yeah, definitely. And as someone who's South Indian, and I live in Washington, D.C., there's clearly not enough South Indian spots near here. So I'm on my mission to try more. Because we need them, and you're 100% correct. Like that food and just kind of describing it and making sure that people are aware about, the diversity within South Asian food and specifically even Indian food is so important.
Mm.
So just wrapping it all up. So for both of you, what are you kind of hoping that audiences that watch the play can kind of take away from it? Maybe after leaving, the theater, what are they kind of taking away from the film? And we can start with you again, Supriya, and then maybe you, Mahira.
I really hope they realize that the place of South Asians in America, it's complicated. It's not like a monolith. We all have unique experiences and perspectives. There's so many events that happen during this play, and all of these characters have unique reactions to them. And I don't think the play takes a very didactic approach to this is right or this is wrong or this is correct or this isn't. And I think it really is an invitation to conversation about different issues that exist within the South Asian community and issues that are affecting the South Asian community. So I think what I'm hoping people will take away from this is conversation or interest or even just asking someone in their life a question about their experiences. That's what I'm really hoping this play will spark.
Mm-hmm. There's a little monologue in the, it's not a but she's talking, and Anya's talking, and she says that, they found this place, and she said they didn't look like us, they didn't speak our language, they didn't live like us, but they felt like us. And that felt like home. And that, to me, that is what I hope the audience takes away from this. That they'll be like, oh, this feels familiar. And actually, we're all in community together. And that's how we can progress as a human race. But really, I'm like, yeah, I want them to feel like, oh, I know these people. They feel familiar.
Yeah, I think that kind of familiarity, especially for theater audiences, is something that really draws them into the characters because it's something that you watch, maybe once or twice if you're able to go back a second time and kind of live with those characters on screen. Or sorry, not on screen, but like on a stage. And so I think that experience is something that a lot of audiences kind of hope that they can take away when they come to watch stage plays. So I'm really excited to kind of see what the opening night looks like for you guys. And I'm really sad that I'm not able to actually watch it in person because it sounds like a wonderful kind of screenplay and play in and of itself. And I really wish that people are able to take away exactly what you both are hoping that they are. So thank you both so much for speaking with me. I really appreciate it. And I loved kind of getting to dive deeper into your characters. And I'm hoping that everyone can kind of go and watch your characters come to life. So thank you both so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Malika, and I hope this play moves to where you are.
Yeah, fingers
I know.
crossed.
I really hope. I mean, I have parents that live in New Jersey, but I live in DC, so I'm hoping in either location I can go watch.
Yeah. I mean, we already got extended before tech, which is amazing. I mean, I like the love that people are showing for this play is amazing. So yeah, we're fingers crossed, cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's able to come to the East Coast and we're able to kind of view it here as well.